Hello, if you're watching this video, it's because I have unexpected news regarding my book. If I take it back to where it began, it was actually after the very first interview. I felt as though the time that I have for interviews, so much of it was taken up by just the first chapter of the book that I immediately started to think that we were going to run out of time. So I spoke to the writer and he gave me reassurance, and we went from there. When we got to the end of 8 hours of interviews done, we had only reached the end of year 2 in the 17 years that I served altogether, over 17 years. So then alarm bells were really ringing, because 2 years done in 8 hours, 15 years of prison left to do, plus 3 years of time on license. So I tried to kind of encourage myself and say it would be all right. I've slept on it now for 3 or 4 days, and I haven't had any single moment where I've felt genuinely comfortable with how things were panning out. I initially decided to just go with it. I was happy that we were still going to have a very good book. It's just that I am, as some of you already know from my videos, I like detail, and I believe that the vast majority of people who read my book are also going to want detail. So I decided tonight, and I won't be posting this within the next 24 hours, I wouldn't think, but I decided tonight to grab the bull by the horns. So I spoke to a very trusted friend. I just needed to get it all off my chest. My trusted friend said that I should go with my gut, and also, if I'm not happy now, then I probably never will be, because it taints the whole process. I agree, and so I then spoke to the writer, or actually I haven't spoken to him yet, but I've messaged him and he's messaged me back. We've arranged to speak on the phone tomorrow when I've got 100-mile drive between a job and a work meeting tomorrow, so I'll have plenty of time to talk to anyone. So look, the bottom line is this: I've decided to go back to my original plan, and that was to do the whole book about Belmarsh. One of the things that has really sort of played on my mind the last few days is that we covered Belmarsh in the last interview, and I've got literally page after page of notes. Some of it's typed up, some of it's handwritten. It goes on and on. I've even got bits of my diaries that I kept while I was in Belmarsh, 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. We finished Belmarsh, and I looked at all this stuff and thought, virtually none of this has gone in there. So that was another kind of catalyst for what I've done. And we're definitely under time pressure in terms of interviews now, but I've got 7 hours left. I can get Belmarsh done, definitely. And I do believe the writer when he says that it's going to be a really good book, but it's not that I'm a perfectionist or egotistical, but I do genuinely believe, and I've always tried my best to be completely impartial in my judgment on this. And again, some of you watching this will know that I'm my biggest critic by a country mile anyway. But I believe that there's a really good book in Just Belmarsh, and I've always believed that. And the thing about it is, if you watch a documentary about Belmarsh or you read another book about Belmarsh, for example, I read Jeffrey Archer's book about Belmarsh when I was in there, and it just made me laugh because the bloke basically portrayed himself as, yeah, after about 2 days they put me in charge of the entire jail. And yeah, he was only there for about 10 days, so ridiculous, but obviously he's an author, so he cashed in. What was my point? I'm tired. It's been a long day. So my point is, yeah, I know there's a good book in Belmarsh. I've got it all in front of me. It's good, and you know what? Here's another thing that's really important. If it all goes to shit and it's a complete fucking dead rubber when this book comes out, then I'll accept that, because it will be my fuck up, not someone else's, and I don't mind my own balls ups. I deal with them and I own them, and so yeah, if you're watching this, I've made the decision, I've put my foot down, and I've completely altered the course of the good ship 9 million. Excuse me. But yeah, like I say, I'll live by the sword, I'll die by the sword. It was my decision. I don't personally think I will live to regret it. I'm gonna live though, right? But I'd rather take control of it. I'm not a control freak, but it's a good book, and that's what I want. So it's either a good call from me or a bad one, but either way, I'm doing it.